Stations carry the fourth hour. If you gentlemen can do it, if not, we'll end it there, and I'll just come back. But I remember the BBC, the Times of London. In fact, let's put it on screen if we can find it. I'm springing that on my guys. The headline 3 or 4 months ago was, "Foreign banks should run Ireland," and the head of their private central bank said, yes, this isn't the Irish debt. We are paying off foreign banks so they don't go under, but it's good to have foreign banks run us. They're just flaunting it, almost hiding in plain view how asinine this is, Jeff.
That's exactly right. In fact, the Lisbon Treaty was a suicide pact that was imposed on all of the formerly sovereign governments of Europe. And if you remember correctly, the Irish voted no on Lisbon. The Lisbon Treaty was actually at that point dead, and the Inter Alpha banking crowd, the City of London and allied financiers, said, no, we're going to go for a second revote. The whole thing is completely illegal, and I think we've reached now a moment in Europe where we're on the verge of a real perfect storm. Ireland, the current government, is now going to go into a crisis because as of today, they've caved in to pressure from the European Central Bank, and they've said that they will not demand that the bondholders take a haircut. So Ireland is not going to be able to make those debt payments, and you've got a very vibrant reaction that was reflected in the high vote for Gerry Adams and Sinn Féin in the Irish parliamentary vote.
And then that leads to Portugal and then Spain, and Germany's already saying no in bankrolling this. We could see the breakup of the EU.
Yeah, exactly. It's coming. I think it may blow up before the June meeting of the European heads of state. And by the way, add to that list the unspoken other really big case of a bankrupt situation, which is Italy. Nobody talks about that. They're a little bit better at cooking the books. But after Spain, an even bigger blowout and bailout is Italy.
So Jeff, what's the order of this in Europe? When does it hit England and the U.S., as we know that are in even greater debt?
Well, I think that the fact of the matter is that the core of the City of London centered financial oligarchy is a banking group called the Inter Alpha Group, set up by Lord Jacob Rothschild back in 1971, right at the point that the whole Bretton Woods system was being taken down. And many of the leading banks of the dozen banks in this Inter Alpha Group are already the recipients of many of these big bailouts from the various governments and taxpayers. So right now, the biggest bankruptcy is actually centered in the City of London and on Wall Street.
And that's why Bloomberg admits today that the biggest section, the largest amount of money, was not U.S. banks. That proves what you're saying. It was actually EU and British-based banks, and not just them. Libya was getting American taxpayer money.
Exactly right. Yeah, this was something that one of the rare moments where the Supreme Court, this Supreme Court, did something useful. They refused to give cert to a second appeals court ruling that ordered the Fed to disclose to Bloomberg and, ironically, Bloomberg and Fox, the full list of loans that the Fed made during the 2007-2008 crisis. And you're right, an overwhelming percentage of that loan money from the Fed, from American taxpayers, watering down the value of the dollar through this printing operation, went to overseas banks. Gaddafi was a big beneficiary.
So everybody's blaming American lifestyles for this and unions as the scapegoat. Meanwhile, Europe for the last year, 2 years, been grandstanding against the West. Turns out it's the U.S. that's been actually bleeding out for them.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And, you know, three cheers for Senator Saunders, who was the first person to get the one thing into the Dodd-Frank bill that meant a damn bit of good, namely forcing the Fed disclosures, and now we're just seeing the follow-on to that with this court ruling.
Well, this is too incredible with Jeff Steinberg. I'm so glad that Sean Stone made the suggestion to get you on with him. Let me just ask live on air, and if you can't do it, or if one of you can't, just tell me now, here on the air. Do you guys want to do 20 minutes into the next hour so we can continue to flesh this out and get some comments from Sean back?
I'd love to. Sean, you good?
Yeah, I'll stay on. I'll stay on with you.
Okay, great. Okay, we're going to break in 1 minute. When we come back, I want to get some comments from Sean, but breaking this down, because, folks, Jeff Steinberg's 100% on for my own research and has a higher level of understanding following this for decades. What are you going to cover? Give us a preview when we come back from break, Jeff.
Okay, well, look, I think that there's more to say about this whole confluence of the absolute bankruptcy breakdown of the financial system, the Libya business, and I think that there's something very relevant to President Obama, which is his willful takedown of some of the most critical science programs that right now are our first line of defense against some potentially very serious natural disaster catastrophes.
All right, that's right. You're looking at the Ring of Fire, too, and what's intensifying there. We're going to cover that all 20 minutes into the next hour. Then I'm going to continue with news and information into the fourth hour today with Sean Stone, a director, writer in his own right, actor, and also the son of Oliver Stone, and Jeff Steinberg, Executive Intelligence Review, Senior Editor. I'm Alex Jones.
Never buy home canning jar lids again. No kidding. When you buy Tadler reusable canning lids once, you'll never buy canning lids ever again. Safely store emergency preparedness foods for years. Traditional metal lids are single-use throwaways containing BPA. But Tadler reusable canning lids are guaranteed to last a lifetime when used as designed for home canning. Tadler lids are made with a USDA and FDA-approved food-grade plastic, safe for direct food contact, and contain no BPA. Tadler lids are dishwasher safe, usable with standard pressure or water bath canning, eliminate food spoilage from acid corrosion, fit standard mason jars, are indefinitely reusable, and are proudly made in the USA. Place orders at reusablecanninglids.com or call 1-877-747-2793. 877-747-2793. Call 877-747-2793 or go to reusablecanninglids.com. That's reusablecanninglids.com for Tadler reusable canning lids, the original since 1976.
Hello, friends. This is Alex Jones. The earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear disaster that killed thousands of Japanese citizens is nothing compared to the devastation that could be caused by hyperinflation that will soon hit the United States and could lead to millions of Americans becoming homeless, all caused by the devalued U.S. dollar. While the mainstream media continues to ignore inflation, our friends at the National Inflation Association provide a free weekly newsletter that educates Americans to the facts and truth about the U.S. economy and inflation. I urge you to sign up at the NIA's free newsletter at www.inflation.us to learn how you can not only survive, but prosper during the upcoming hyperinflation crisis. Silver has more than doubled since the NIA declared silver the best investment for the next decade on inflation.us. The NIA's team of expert economists are happy to answer any economic questions you have about inflation, debt, currencies, real estate, precious metals, and commodities. Visit inflation.us to learn the economic truth that the mainstream media ignores.
If you suffer from poor sleep, you need MyPillow. Guaranteed to be the most comfortable pillow you will ever own. Using a patented fill, MyPillow adjusts to your exact individual needs by gently supporting your head, shoulders, and neck. MyPillow has a natural built-in cooling effect, keeping your cervical nerves cool, giving you the best sleep of your life. MyPillow will never go flat and relieves snoring, migraines, sleep apnea, fibromyalgia, and many other disorders. It's antimicrobial, non-allergenic, dust mite resistant, and best of all, machine washable and dryable. MyPillow is made in the USA, has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau, comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and an industry-leading 10-year warranty. Order today at MyPillow.com or call 952-442-6199. That's 952-442-6199. Mention coupon code GCN and receive 20% off your order. What do you have to lose except poor sleep? MyPillow.com, the most comfortable pillow you will ever own, guaranteed.
Going into the fourth hour live today with Jeff Steinberg and Sean Stone. Comments on what Jeff Steinberg's been breaking down here. I mean, absolutely on target. The world is in such a key state of flux right now, and the banks that have engineered this system, they're in a lot of trouble. What's your view on what's happening, Sean?
Indeed. My view on what's happening? It's a very interesting thing, isn't it? I don't think there's any irony in the fact that it's coming around 2012. We approach this date. I think that there's Jeff will get into this a bit more, but there is this factor of what is happening to the planet on a geophysical plane. right, in terms of its relationship to the sun, solar spot activity is really intensified, which means the electromagnetic rays from the sun are up embodying the planet, contributing to this so-called rim of fire activity from the Haiti quake to Chile.
By the way, I had a top astrophysicist, Piers Corbin, on 3 weeks ago, and he concurred that, on the day of the tsunami and the mega earthquake, there was a record solar flare that the magnetics hit the world. And then there was also the moon, the closest it had been to the Earth in 20 years, a giant moon. And he said 100% that's what did it.
Exactly. And so what you have is this whole issue of an end game and end times converging, which is what's most interesting to me. That it's not hidden, for example, that the Masons are particularly interested by the Book of Revelation, and it's as though there was a realization for a long time that we were going to hit this period of geological upheaval and overall bombardment with cosmic radiation, which we don't even understand all the implications of it. I think, frankly, the ancient Egyptians and various Mayan-related civilizations, maybe the Sumerians would have understood it a bit better than us because of their orientations towards the stars. And so really the goal is now to advance ourselves scientifically in understanding what is this concept of radiation. Why don't we study nuclear power? We're so freaked out by nuclear power that we're not willing to really understand what it is that makes an atom. As we know, we don't quite know what gravity is to this day. There's 4 essential forces, right? The weak force, strong force, electromagnetic, and gravitational forces. They're all acting upon us as beings. So when I say I'm fascinated by the concept of energy and plasmas and how plasma is the fourth state of matter, and this is potentially where some of this paranormal activity is coming from, then why don't we try to understand it scientifically? Because it's going to have impacts in our lifetime, I believe. And
we're going to cover this Ring of Fire report out of LaRouchePub.com more. In the few minutes we got left in this hour, Jeff, starting to get into what you were talking about, dealing with this financial collapse, how are the globalists going to try to manage this?
Well, you pointed out yourself just a few moments ago that one thing that they always resort to in these kinds of crisis points is to start up wars. And but I think that it's important that on a deeper level, what you've got embedded within this international financial oligarchy is a faction that is really radical Malthusian in the sense that they believe that this combination of a financial meltdown with various potentials for permanent wars in major parts of the globe can bring about their long-term objective, which is the vast reduction of the population of this planet down from the current level of about 7 billion people to somewhere in the range of under 2 billion. Prince Philip, who was a founder of the World Wildlife Fund back in the early 1960s, along with Prince Bernhard, openly said that it's his desire to be reincarnated as a deadly virus so that he can help participate in the reduction of the world population by 80%. So some of these guys are deluded into thinking that if you unleash this kind of cataclysm, that somehow or other there's a few high-minded people in the oligarchy that are going to survive it. And my message to them is read Boccaccio's Decameron and find out what a folly that was the last time we plunged into a dark age.
All right, world depopulation, that's their agenda. Back in 1 minute.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365.
coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
Now live into hour number 4.